Now, the world woke up to some amazing and disturbing news that the CAF, or the Confederation of African Football, has stripped off Senegal of the AFCON Glory and instead awarded the win to Morocco via a 3-0 margin. Imagine! And of course, guys, I'm going to take you through this, and we're going to look at the reactions from different players and the federations and what people are saying on the internet following the case and the decision from CAF. I'm your host, Teria Sinagachai. Well, it is public knowledge that the AFCON 2025 was lifted or won by Senegal through a 1-0 win, and of course it was a very chaotic match. We all remember that Senegal walked off at some point of the match after the center referee awarded a penalty to Morocco, and after like 10 minutes in the changing room, of course Mane and other players, they urged the other players to get back to the pitch and continue with the match. And of course the penalty was taken by Brahim Diaz, who lost the penalty, and they went to extra time where Senegal scored, and of course they were crowned the champions. Now everyone is wondering why 2 months later CAF has decided to look at the case and instead strip off Senegal of their deserved win. And of course it is quite dramatic, and people are talking online asking why teams are not winning on the pitch and they are winning in the boardroom. What say you? That matches should be won on the pitch, not in the courtroom. And of course the Senegal Football Federation released a statement regarding the matter, and they say that is very unprecedented and an unfair decision, and that they're going to challenge that through an appeal at the highest court of sports at Lausanne. And of course, the Senegal government has also stood in unison with their football federation, and they've also asked that the international authorities try and investigate the matter, because there could be some corruption that has led to the decision by CAF. So do you think that this is a corruption scheme, and that CAF have been wamehongwa by Morocco so that they can award them this victory? And so of course the Senegalese government said that the decision is unfair, shocking, and very unacceptable, and that it is damaging the credibility of African football. And talking about the credibility of African football, of course, for quite some time we've been fighting the narrative that African football is not what people used to think it was, because we had some cases of top people like even Jamie Carragher and Jurgen Klopp when he was at Liverpool, saying that the AFCON is not a serious tournament, that it is not a major tournament, and we've been fighting and claiming that Africa should be respected. But I don't know if that will remain the same after this decision by CAF, because it has left many wondering where the African football is really headed into the right direction. And so they have also said that they will take legal action at the Court of Arbitration of Sport, and that that Senegal is committed, of course, to restoring what they believe is rightfully theirs. And of course, following the announcement of from CAF, we saw different players like Sadio Mane posted saying that the world knows the rightful champions of AFCON, and also players like Nyakate, Diaye, Pape Diaye, and of course they all posted themselves with images of the AFCON title, sending a message that they know that they are rightful winners of AFCON. Yes, of course, there have also been there's also some clubs for instance, a club in the Egyptian Premier League by the name FACO has boycotted all competitions organized by the CAF, that is Confederation of African Football, that they are not going to participate in any CAF tournament or competition, including the CAF Champions League, the CAF Confederation Cup, the Super Cup, or any other tournament that CAF organizes. So the decision is to protest, of course, the verdict that was declared Morocco as the AFCON 2025 champions. Meanwhile, on the other side, of course, Morocco are celebrating this declaration, and of course, some photos have gone viral of course, the streets of Morocco fully flooded yesterday night after the declaration. And of course, they were celebrating the major win of their national team. And of course, we saw some clubs like Raja Casablanca also congratulating the national team. Teams like Wydad, of course, they were also congratulating the national team. And of course we also saw some teams that have Moroccan players like Real Betis. They did a guard of honor for Sofiane Amrabat and Abdi, another player called Abdi, and of course they were trying to recognize them as African champions. Definitely, of course, there has been a lot of criticism to the CAF president Patrice Motsepe regarding the declaration, and of course people are wondering, is African football heading to the right direction after this declaration? And of course the AFCON is now crowded with a lot of issues, and we wait to see what will happen at the Court of Appeal when Senegal goes on to appeal the decision by CAF to strip them of their AFCON title. Of course, we know that there have been issues after Morocco were defeated by Senegal in that final. We also saw some issues regarding the Women's Africa Cup of Nations hosted, Morocco declining to host, and they were initially supposed to host. And of course, people feel like maybe CAF are being forced to favor Morocco so that Morocco can host this Africa Cup of Nations, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2026, because Morocco apparently is one of the countries in Africa that has very good stadiums, and maybe CAF feel like they do not have other options. So are we this desperate to this extent? Yeah. So we wait and see. And of course, the Secretary General of the Federation of Senegalese Football, Abdoulaye Sow, has also said that the trophy will not leave Senegal. And of course, there are also reports that security has been upped in Senegal to protect the trophy and the medals and every other player from the Senegal national team whenever they move. So the trophy is not leaving Senegal, and of course, it's going to be a dramatic turn of events, and we wait to see what will happen afterwards. Meanwhile, I'd love to hear what you have to say regarding the declaration from CAF. Yes.